So here we have the muscles of the leg. So first we're going to start with the posterior compartment. This is your gluteus maximus, and then when you remove it, you have your gluteus medius, that is posterior. So anterior portion of this is going to be your gluteus maximus. Deep to that is your gluteus medius. And then moving on, if you want to look on this posterior part, you have your glutealis minimus, and then you have your piriformis, and then you have the gogos. So G-O-G-O. So it's going to be your superior gemelli, your obturator internus between the two G's, your inferior gemelli, and your obturator externus. And then you have your quadratus femoris in that nice quadrangle shape. All right, before I forget, I'm also going to mention the tensor fasciae lata right here, which is on the lateral portion of the leg that inserts into the tensor fasciae lata. All right, back to the posterior compartment. You have your hamstrings, which are your biceps and your semitendinosus and your semimembranosus medial. All right, so you have the long head of your biceps femoris here, and then you can see the part of the short head of the biceps femoris here. But if you want to see it better, you can take off the long head, which won't come off without this. And you can see it deep here a lot better. This is the biceps femoris short head. All right, so back to the hamstrings. You have your semimembranosus and your semitendinosus, which is going to be right here in the medial portion. So your semitendinosus, you can think of it as the hot dog and a hot dog bun. So your semitendinosus is the thinner, more narrower hot dog, and then the semimembranosus is going to wrap around it as the hot dog bun. All right, and then you have the medial compartment of your thigh. You're going to have your sartorius first of all, which goes medial to lateral, or lateral to medial. And then you have your adductor magnus, which is going to be in 3 different parts. It's going to be here, here, and here. It's all adductor magnus. And then here is your gracilis, which is going to be this long muscle that goes all the way past your knee. And then going more towards the anterior portion, you have your adductor longus. And then here is going to be the anterior portion of your thigh. You have your iliopsoas, which is the continuation of your iliacus and your psoas major. Once it passes the inguinal ligament, it is the iliopsoas. And then in this portion, you have the actinius, which is this really small triangular muscle. And then even smaller, you have the adductor brevis. So brevis and the crevice is the way to remember that. Now you have your rectus femoris, which is the most superficial. And then you have your vastuses, which you are going to have your vastus medialis, your vastus lateralis, and deep to your rectus femoris is your vastus intermedius. All right, so now we can move on to the leg. Right here, you can see your tibia. So that can be used as a point of reference. So this is going to be your tibialis anterior here. This is going to be your extensor digitorum. This is your extensor hallucis longus. And then over here, you have your fibularis longus and brevis. So how to tell the difference between the fibularis longus and the fibularis brevis are by the striations. So your fibularis longus is going to have these longitudinal striations, and then the fibularis brevis has these more diagonal striations going down. Moving to the posterior compartment of the leg, you have your gastrocnemius, the 2 heads right here. So this entire portion with the calcaneal tendon. And then you have deep to that, if you take off one of the heads of the gastrocnemius, you have the soleus, you can see here, and you can also see the popliteal tendon, which will lead to your popliteus later on. So we have the gastrocnemius is superficial, soleus is deep, which you can also see on the posterior side. And then you have the extensor extensor hallucis longus here, and then you have your flexor flexor digitorum, I think.
Flexor digitorum?
Yeah, flexor digitorum longus and flexor hallucis longus. So flexor hallucis longus and your flexor digitorum longus. And then in here you have your tibialis posterior, your tibialis posterior, and then you have your popliteus, which is running all the way diagonal here. And that's pretty much it, unless you want to know about fibularis tertius, which you can't really see, but it would run this way.
Yay!
Cool.
Thank you, Courtney.
Courtney, the best.
Bye-bye.
Bye.